We are live. You're watching Interchain FM, your monthly podcast for all things blockchain interoperability related. I'm Chango and Chain, your host for this podcast. We are here with Jeffrey Hu from IRISnet today. He is a researcher there, and IRISnet, in fact, was one of the earliest adopters of Tendermint technology. They're like the first ecosystem team that used our technology. So that's great, and it's good to hear. Where you guys are in this podcast. And yeah, thank you for coming on the show, Jeffrey. You guys are the like the OGs of the Cosmos ecosystem. So yeah. So you're here, you're tuning.
Sorry.
That Chinese internet. Okay. So yeah. What are you working on at IRISnet, and what's happening there right now, Jeffrey? If you can just like talk to us through your
Yes. Okay. Yes. Hi everyone. I'm Jeffrey Hu from IRISnet. I'm a research director here and heads for the strategy and also the ecosystem development right now here in IRISnet. And actually IRISnet I think is maybe the one of the first projects that launched its mainnet in the Cosmos ecosystem, and also maybe the first launched the mainnet, and also we also we established the first mainnet IBC connection and finished the first IBC transfer in this year. So really looking forward to the more ecosystem contributions maybe in the future.
That's amazing. So what has been your experience like having launched inter blockchain communication on IRISnet, our Iris Hub? Are you guys
sorry, you mean
are you guys gaining traction? Are people making IBC transactions through Iris Hub?
Yeah. Actually, we did a demo, maybe a test IBC transaction once we have established the IBC connection with the Cosmos Hub, and after that, we launched the IBC connection with the production use cases just several days ago. Last week, we because also you see that on the CoinSwap, another applications on the IRISnet, also AMM that also can support the item on the Iris Hub right now. So on that, we can just transfer the atom from the Cosmos Hub to the Iris Hub, then swap these tokens. So that's maybe another use case.
Are people swapping right now using CoinSwap?
Sorry, you mean the people using CoinSwap?
Yeah, are users are users transferring Atom over and then swapping with Iris tokens right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, like what pairs are there? Is it just Atom Iris?
Oh, this Iris Atom, and also maybe in the beginning of this year, actually we also without IBC, we also try to connect with the Binance chain with another hash lock crossing technology that can also people can swap the BNB and BUSD list tokens and also get transferred through list chains. So, but actually we want to support many kinds of the cross-chain ways that can be for people to to easier for them to swap tokens and get connections.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned HTLCs because my understanding of CoinSwap is that it's built a little differently than other like wrapped solutions, right? It's similar to Lightning in that sense. Can you talk a little bit more about how CoinSwap works so that our audience can understand from a technical perspective?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, CoinSwap actually, it is also a modules developed in very early times, like back to 2019. We actually developed these modules on the Iris Hub, but but without applications. So this year, this applications has already launched on the Earth Hub, and but at that time, the IBC is not so ready. It's not so ready for the production. So the first question that should be ready for the production use is HTLC. That Binance Chain and like Kava has already been using that for like many times for very long times. But they are to swap tokens. So we also try to use that in a similar ways to swap the tokens between the Earth Hub and the Binance Chain. So maybe later on, if Binance Chain can also support the IBC, we can use it in a more easier ways. And after that, last month, we also launched the IBC connections with that can sorry, not between the networks, just on the applications of CoinSwap. So CoinSwap can also use the Atom tokens through the IBC connections. So that's another upgrade recently.
And why did you guys go with the Lightning design, the Lightning atomic swap design, instead of like a more, I guess, centralized alternative?
Oh yeah, because I think centralized like gateway and other ways of for transfer tokens is also options for that because before that, before the HTLC and the Lightning hash lock transfers, we can also support this kind of gateway to transfer tokens between the Earth Hub and the Binance chain. But I think we should move forward one step by step that we can be more like decentralized and permissionless, like from gateway to hash lock and to IBC. So maybe for this plan that can support, but we can also support many kinds of question particles that for users for their to have their options and choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if you guys have taken a look at the Thor chain design, because they implemented a novel design. We talked to them the following the previous episode before this one, and they introduced something interesting that was different from wrap solutions and atomic swaps. So yeah, I just wonder if you guys took a look at Thor chain's design, and everything else that's out in the ecosystem, and you decided, well, this is the best design for Iris.
Oh wow! I'm so sorry. I didn't to take deeply look into the Soul Chain's design, but we should definitely look into that. Yeah, I think Soul Chain is more is very much active in the ecosystem also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so are how many I guess how much value is locked on the IRISnet chain that's being swapped?
Oh, because swapped. Let me see the data right now. I think it's millions of the TVL right now. It's not so much because we don't want to like to have many tokens to be locked as swapped right for this for the moment. It's not so high at the moment.
Are you guys waiting for Gravity Dex to come out?
Yes. I think all the gravity DX and osmosis, I think all this kind of design applications and particles, maybe like in the future, we can have a very good design to have this kind of collaborations between these DeFi particles, just like we have seen on the Ethereum. Like, yeah, all the DeFi applications can have their like the DeFi Legos on the Ethereum, but we can expect that it should be like the chain Lego. I think maybe because
Yeah.
we can connect this with the help of the IBC. So that's a I think maybe a paradigm shift. Yeah, I think that's maybe a quite different things for the whole industry.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the BSN
Oh
initiative.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's really interesting, and you're the first you know Chinese guest from China that we've had on this show so far. So
oh,
I
great.
I just want to know what's going on in China, right? Like we want to cover macro trends and understand where
Yeah,
where you're trying to
yes,
move towards with
yeah,
decentralization
yes.
technology, especially for a Chinese regime. That's kind of like an oxymoron to me. So help us better understand. I know
Yeah.
IRISnet is you're developing you're actually building it for them, right? This open
Mhm.
permission network.
No, let me try to get this more specific because our team is also running the Cosmos China community, try to promote the Cosmos tech stacks to the Chinese community that can help more people to adopt this very cool tech stack in the blockchain industry. So in the very early time, we have a collaboration also with the BSN. BSN is an initiative established by the state information center of China, and also with the China Mobile and Union Pay, and yeah, and other big institutions in China. So we collaborate with in a very early time that to help this kind of blockchain industry and technologies to develop in China, because in China, blockchain technology is still very encouraged to help more industry that can adopt these technologies. Yeah, to use it in many areas of applications. So this morning, yeah, right now the time in China is morning. So when I check about some news, I also to see some news like the people can sign their contract based on the blockchain technologies that can help this kind of the agreement not be revised and be compromised by any parts of the agreement. So that's we can see maybe news coming like every day from many areas that blockchains has been adopted. So in China right now. So BSN is also have this kind of the vision to help this progress becomes more early and more faster. So we collaborate with them in several aspects, like the public chains. The BSN also, I think the IRISnet is the first batch of the public chain that's supported by the BSN Global. So they can, so users can access the IRISnet's node through the BSN's global portal, just like the Infura of the Ethereum. And the second one is the interchain communication hub of the BSN. So that's the Cosmos be good at. That's what we be good at. So we established the interchain communication hub for the BSN that can connect with the permission blockchain and also some of the other service and other applications around the BSN environment. And also another big thing we are doing right now with them is the BSN Open Permission Blockchain, OPB for short. It's another quite interesting thing because this OPB term or concept is also raised by the ant group in China. So what is this? Because in the past, people know that
Sorry,
consortium blockchain.
and who's
Ant
ant
group.
group? We want to in my head. There's ant pool. Are they different?
Oh, yes, no, it's not the ant pool. It's the ant group, like the Alipay, and the yeah another entities have maybe has a close relation. And it's not the same, but it has some close relationship with the Alibaba group.
Okay,
Yeah, it's another group, ant group. Yeah,
got it.
they also yeah have their blockchain ant chain.
Okay,
Yeah, so they follow the similar concept of the open permission blockchain because in the past, like in the Fabric and other private or consortium blockchains, people can just read their data in a very closed network environment. The outside world cannot read data and also write the data. No, they can't. But in the open permission blockchains, people outside the world can also read the data from this kind of the infrastructure, but they also need permission. So they can't write the data without this kind of information, maybe like gas or other things they want to they need to get from the BSN or maybe Ant group uh, to get this data can write on the blockchain. So that's another amazing thing. It's maybe it's like more on like the public blockchain, right? Because
So
when we record something, yeah, please go.
when you say in order to append, in order to write to the blockchain, you just need to purchase gas, or one could call it
Yeah,
stake,
yeah,
from
yeah,
a central provider. And that's all
yeah.
that's needed? Isn't that just proof of stake?
No, it's not. It's not so proof of stake because the node running for the validator is also has some more permission for that for running the node.
Okay.
Also maintained by mm, maybe in a very short, a very small group. But we can also like to open that to maybe later to the more to the whole industry. But right now we can also maintain it but in very small group and get this gas token. And this gas token cannot be transferred and traded. So it's not so same with the public blockchain, but they
I
can
see.
also can still use this gas for like running the smart contract or using the applications. But it's really different things that can like in the past like the full nodes of the fabric chain or some small private blockchains. When you record something on this kind of blockchain, the outside world will not know this kind of things and will don't know how to use this in the future. But if we open this data to the whole world, so that will be different. The record will be gets witnessed by the whole world. So that's a different thing.
And what's the requirement to becoming part of the node set?
Yeah, I think there'll be more like the specs and maybe ways for the for like POS pool or maybe the validators to get into this to maintain this node or for in the future. But right now it's still like maintained by some how to say that how cloud 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 service centers, cloud service centers that can service providers they can run in this kind of node because they also there as a business model for running this kind of the whole things like the gas I mentioned before. So there's also some this kind of the reward not rewards uh, but this kind of the how the revenue, this kind of revenue will be distributed through this kind of different entities, like the node maintainers and also the infrastructure providers, and also yeah,
So
this framework.
who's the current entity that is running, like, I'm assuming just a single node?
Uh, right now there's several like the service cloud service providers so in China in different areas.
Okay. Who's running who's running this? It's you said was it Alipay that you have to go and
No. It's it's another thing. It's another. Maybe I confused that by comparing this concept. But Alipay is not running this node on the BSN. It's a service provider like I'm not sure about about like China Mobile or China Telegram. This in different areas. Their service provider, a cloud service provider, will run in this kind of the node for the BSN and provide this kind of infrastructure level service.
Mhm. Okay, got it. And so you guys at Bianjie, which is the startup behind IRISnet, you're building out various verticals for this project for
Yeah,
China.
we built the BSN's OPB's product and also running the software levels applications for the for the BSN. We contribute that, and also based on the Cosmos, the compatible with the Cosmos particles, so like IBC and other. We also integrate with the Cosmos WASP modules on
Cosmosm?
the
Okay.
BSNs. Yeah, because this will be easier for developers to write their smart contract.
Okay. And so what you guys are doing is you're leveraging the Cosmos stack and
Yeah.
providing a permissioned network for China that's operated by, I guess, Chinese institutions.
Yeah, some big institutions.
Okay. And so I've read some articles about this. They want this to power like a smart city and power IoT devices and
Yeah.
other such applications. Is that the kind of goal that you guys are working towards?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like the smart cities and also IoT devices. Also, I think it will be combined with blockchain technologies in the futures. But right now, we don't have so much so deep into this kind of areas right now.
Okay. And right now, you guys are just plugging in IBC for
Yeah,
IRISnet and for
yeah,
BSN. How
yeah.
are people using it? How do you expect people to use it?
Yeah, I think lots of things I can use this IBC in this kind of the areas like in BSN, the IRITA hub I mentioned before. IRITA hub that can be helpful to connection with the many heterogeneous blockchains, like even with the permissioned blockchain like Fabric. Can connect with by the IBC to connect by the to the other blockchains. So take this maybe record example I mentioned before. When you want to record something for many parties to get agreement. So I think it's not makes so sense that you record on a very small private blockchains, but we can also record this on maybe a very large scalabilities scalable public blockchains. So this kind of areas we can but the business logic is still running on the private maybe enterprise the permission blockchains. But when you want to record something, you can get these things through the IBC to record on the public blockchains. And this agreement can read by the whole world and witnessed by the whole world. And when you want to get some record also from the public blockchains, they can also request this kind of the service from by the help of the IBC to get this record of the public.
It looks like Jeffrey has frozen. Maybe maybe the CCP heard us talking and said, "Nope." Behind the great firewall. Okay, so what we're going to do, since we're operating on a live platform right now, is we can wait for Jeffrey to come back online because it looks like he's been taken down and censored. Just kidding. I'm going to give the Chinese government the benefit of the doubt. But what we can do is we could do Q&A from the audience. And so, okay, we'll just talk. Okay, I'll just talk to the audience because goodbye, my interviewee. He's gone. Chinese government says no. So, all right, we can't talk to him. But yeah, we have about 30 more minutes. Usually these interviews take about an hour. And yeah, I could take questions from the audience. And so Elliot Zelios says, what is IRISnet? Okay, so actually, I worked very closely with the people at BNGA. It was, they were one of the first people that I worked with it was like 2017. And so being part of Cosmos, we worked very closely with IRISnet, and they're kind of positioned as like the Cosmos hub for China. And what they wanted to do is work as a microservices provider to these different, like centralized startups that operate more in the traditional world in China. And so the Iris Hub was more of sort of like a middle ground that introduced blockchain technology to these basically, traditional / boomer Chinese companies. And so, yeah, that was the kind of positioning that they were going for. Bianji, actually, before they entered into the cryptocurrency space, they were an AI company, and then they kind of pivoted, and then I believe they were working with a subsidiary of Wangxiang. Wangxiang is like a huge conglomerate in China, and so they had been working on the smart city initiative for a very long time, and so we're kind of seeing the fruits of all of that later culminate right now with their work. So, okay, Jeffrey is back. Jeffrey,
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about the problem. Yeah, I actually I could hear you when I'm not sure about my camera is black. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, the CCP reviewed your content and said, okay, this passes.
Oh, sorry. Please.
All right, yeah, enough about the Chinese government. So, as you were saying, what were you saying?
Sorry.
Let's talk about the. I just gave the audience all of the context behind your company and what you guys have been working on and your relationship to Cosmos, and give like a real TLDR from the last 4 years that we've worked together. And so, yeah, let's do a review about what Iris is working on. You guys have a lot, right? You guys got a lot going on. You have NFT. You guys have IBC. You guys have an enterprise service arm from IRISnet. You guys have Errata. Let's break that all down. There's a lot.
Okay. Yeah. I think so. Yes, maybe the first one I think is right now for maybe one of the top priorities right now is NFT. Because I think maybe IRISnet is also the first mainnet that integrated with the NFT features and also modules in the system. We enable these modules early this year, like in the mainnet upgrade with the start date. We started upgrade. So right now we have some applications are already running on the Iris Hub right now, like the uptake. Because you can see on the Explorer for the Iris Hub right now, they are already made. I think the more than 30,000 of the NFT are already minted and also be used by the users right now. In 4 months, yeah. Because early March we launched the uptake tokens with our uptake applications with our partners in March. So and after that, we also we are trying to refactoring this kind of the NFT modules right now to help to support more features. And I'm very glad to know that crypto.com and also 30 chains has already decided to use our modules for their blockchain's NFT features. I learned that from the previous episode of the Interchain FM. So and I hope that we can to have more contributors for the NFT features in the Cosmos ecosystem. So we also proposing NFT ADR architecture decision record right now for in the Cosmos SDK repositories that maybe you can to help to support the NFT features also on the Cosmos Hub. And moreover, we can also support this kind of NFT can be cross-chain transferred by the based on the IBC. Maybe just our thought right now would be ICS 30 compared with the ICS 20. So that's for the non-fungible tokens to cross-chain transfer. So that's our next plans for this NFT things. Yeah, so that's maybe I think that's the NFT things, because the NFT actually is also very useful for the enterprise applications. I'm not sure whether you have also the same feeling about that, because NFT I think is not just about the crypto arts, because NFT can, I think it's more like an infrastructure level things, because we can record all many kinds of like maybe sophisticated like data on by the help of the NFT. So it's quite useful also for the enterprise applications. So we started to study and integrate in very early time also with our permission blockchain products with this kind of NFT features, and also combined with other features like privacy computings, and also some other like record and also data sharing, like this kind of things together with the NFT modules. So
Yeah,
that's,
I think it would be helpful to unpack that a little bit. You know, so there's some things that we should probably give context about, which is you know, the ADR is a sort of process that that would enable you to create like an interchain improvement proposal, right? The ICS.
Yeah.
So the ICS, the ICS can be thought of in the Cosmos ecosystem as equivalent to the BIP system, the BIP governance system, or the EIP governance system for Ethereum. And so what you guys are attempting to do is to upstream the NFT module into the Cosmos SDK, if I understand that correctly, which is what the SDK is meant to do, right? It's this
Yeah.
it's an SDK for the entire open source ecosystem of developers to be able to upstream their contributions back up to Cosmos SDK, and that's what you guys are trying to do.
Yes. It's more like on the Cosmos SDK level. So developers of the whole Cosmos ecosystem, not just the Cosmos Hub, not just the Gaia team, but the whole Cosmos ecosystem team can get these NFT features that if you want to integrate these kind of features on the blockchains, like through the Starport and other developing tools to start your own blockchain, you can try to also adopt this NFT design on your own blockchains with this kind of NFT feature and abilities.
Yeah, so we can think of your NFT module as like, you know, the ERC 721 token standard, and ICS 30 as like EIP 1155 or something like that. Some improved proposal towards developing NFTs. Okay, all right. Enough context. Zooming back out, you talked about you know, different applications besides just crypto art, which I am personally interested in learning about, because right now it's just crypto art used for NFTs. So I want to know what you have in store for using non-fungible tokens.
Yeah. Like maybe the first example is still the uptake, because uptake is another partner that they have already using like this kind of NFT for their events, like ticketing for some offline events, that the NFT can record this kind of tickets informations. And also in some of our enterprise level applications, this kind of the NFT things can also be assets that can have connections like with the real world asset, like financial, like financial assets that can record their whole data on the blockchains, because we can just define that JSON schema for this different asset in the finance on the different industries, and this kind of the asset can further be traded, or maybe can like be transferred to other parties. So that's quite useful. I think it is quite useful in the enterprise levels. Like maybe I don't know how to see that. Oh yeah, yes, like in the supply chain finance, maybe in the the supply chain finance, all the receivables, you can record this assets on the blockchain as an NFT, and this kind of NFT can also be be transferred to other parties and get their future payback or something through this kind of asset on the blockchain as proof. So
Yeah,
that's
or you might think of a domain name as an NFT.
oh yeah, domain name is that yeah, right.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Great. Let's talk about some of your other services. You have Terse IBC and you have iService. Can we talk
Yeah.
about what those are, what they do?
Yeah, iServices. I think the concept like we initiative this concept like in very early time, since like the IRISnet project been proposed. This kind of iService. I think iService is also quite connected with the enterprise levels use cases because iService um, can wrap, you can see the wrap all the systems abilities and service into this kind of iService. We can call that interchain, intersystem service between different networks or systems. Like even for some centralized system, if you have some like abilities or service, you can register this service on the AirSnet and on the other different blockchains. And this kind of service can be like invoked and requested by the other entities through on this chain, on this native chain, or maybe we can later on call it from another other blockchains by the help of the IBC. So this can fully extend the whole systems connection and integrations because right now they are, I think, compared with the blockchain, I think there are more and more applications based on the centralized tech stack, right? So this kind of the system it can, but they can expose their abilities by the iService just by register their service abilities like on the Earth Hub. So this kind of service can be fully can further interact. So that's the iService. So we are trying to do the next step is the sorry, I forgot to mention one thing that recent updates for the SNet is that another partner of our team, V team, they are also running a node called BI23. Also, I think they also node for the validated nodes of the Cosmos Hub. So they are proposing a governance proposal that to lower the issue cost for the tokens on the Earth Hub. So that will be easier for their DAO applications. They'll be launched on the IRISnet because they will use the iService to help this kind of the team management applications on the Earth Hub. So issue a team's own tokens and get these tokens as a DAO applications to help this kind of the team internal decision making and maybe discussion or other things like reward distributions and some things. So they are also proposing a proposal right now on the governance proposals on the Earth Hub right now. So that's the iService and yeah, and for the next step, I think we will propose maybe integrate more with the IBC that can have the iService over the IBC. Like I mentioned before, this kind of service interactive can also be based on the IBCs. So that's our next step, the iService.
Do you imagine this being used to launch various DAOs and for the DAOs to adopt Iris Hub as kind of a new governance platform, or do you expect something else to emerge?
Yeah, I think the team's versions will like this have this similar idea. Like we can use the EdgeNet as a DAO platform for their applications because Because governance proposal system, I think is very, I think it's very mature on the both on the IRISnet and maybe on the whole Cosmos ecosystem. So we can also leverage this kind of features for this kind of DAO systems. But governance proposal may be too heavy for some small teams, so we can use this iService for some like small, maybe lightweight governance discussions, maybe decisions makings, and for the team internal discussions. And when we get to the network level, we can also use the governance system. So that's I think we can expect that. We can expect that.
Okay, so you would be doing, I guess, governance as a service on a blockchain for various DApps.
Oh yeah, that's I like this term, governance as a service.
Yeah, actually, that would be interesting. I actually don't see proof of stake networks utilizing that very much, but I definitely see a value add from the perspective of a proof of work network that explicitly does not have governance functionality in it. You know, for example, for example, like smart contracts on Ethereum definitely kind of have that niche filled, and I definitely see Cosmos chains actually, having already leveraged this using the governance module in the SDK, and so they kind of like have this out of the box. But where I do see a need for it is something like, an application-specific blockchain that runs on a totally different system, such as Handshake, because I know, having experience participating in the, I guess, consensus forming process in such a system that does not have governance explicitly would benefit from something like this. And so, if we're imagining a huge multi-chain world with like a bunch of different applications that don't necessarily use the SDK state machine or use Ethereum, it would use this. I mean, this would be helpful.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's maybe different. Like the current governance modules on the Cosmos ecosystem chain is affect all the people, all the users on the single chains. But I think maybe if this DAO applications needs are getting more and more, maybe you can modify this governance proposal, governance modules. Like the proposals can just affect a small group, maybe a small team of the network users of the network. So maybe you can have this DAO applications get more like practical for this DAO applications.
Yeah. Okay, so like more of a like subgroup within like a larger network using this for a specific purpose. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me about Terse IBC.
Oh yeah, that's another a concept. We have this kind of idea, Terse IBC. We can have this kind of maybe TIBC, because right now I think when we developing some for example heterogeneous blockchains, for them persuade them to adopt the IBC ways, because we see that IBC is quite useful, like permissionless, like we don't assume that network topologies, and we don't have this kind of centralized things for the IBC connection between the chains. But maybe we have that feeling that some of the blockchains, they will get for them will have many kinds of works and many things to do for them to have to adopt the IBC's whole stacks. Like functions and features integrated on their chains. So we have the idea that maybe we can have some customized or maybe we can cause the Terse IBC for them to to have some to help them to get the token transfer features and also smart contract interactions by this kind of TIBC particles. So like they don't have to implement all the ICS particles like channels, like port or other things, or the whole stack, like the particle stacks. but just a small subset that can have their connections just established through this kind of heterogeneous blockchains. So that's our design and idea right now. So yeah, so that's so we will design this and push this forward this year. So maybe we can by this kind of the TIBC, I think we will connect more blockchains to the Cosmos ecosystem.
Great. And you've listed a whole bunch of different services, and is that all operated on the Iris Hub?
I think it would depends. It would depends. I think we will find suitable scenarios for this all kinds of different technologies. Like we also like have some collaborations with the data chain team from Japan to collaborate on the integration of the Fabric IBC connections. So I think that's when it's more useful on the on BSN environment for the permission blockchains that can be connected. But for some like DAO and other NFT applications like Uptake, maybe they can also on the IRISnet, maybe they'll be more useful for them, like on the public blockchain scenarios. So I think it will depend on the blockchain, what kind of blockchain we connect with help of the TIBC.
Okay, so how is IRISnet going to work with BSN? Because I'm inferring that from what you're telling me right now. So are there plans for BSN and IRISnet to connect and do some cool thing or
Yeah. Yes. Because BSN will integrate more the features, and we will upgrade our BSN infrastructures, like the BSN's Arita Hub, and also the BSN OPB Wenchang. I forgot to mention the name Wenchang Chain. Wenchang is the name of the BSN's one of the BSN's OPBs we developed. So yeah, we will integrate more features on these blockchains. Like on the BSN's OPB, we will also reflect. We will also reflect the NFT features on the BSN OPB to have more permission check and also features added on the BSN OPB's NFTs. That's one example, and I will we will also upgrade some the IBC's features on the Arita Hub. Like we will leverage if TIBC is ready, we develop that. We will also integrate this kind of things on the BSN's Arita Hub to help to connect with more enterprise blockchains. So that's what we are doing for the next. Yeah, so we will do many more things with the BSN.
How big do you expect it to be? Because from an investor's perspective, because one of my partners at DWeb Foundation is a investor, and so he knows the expected number of usage and scale of this network, and so his perspective, Jihan's perspective is that it's going to be used by all of China. Is that how big this thing is?
Yeah, I think like you mentioned, like the users and some maybe usage. You mentioned that network usage. I'm not sure if I understand right.
Well, I'm just wondering if every person in China and their moms and grandparents are going to be using this for whatever they use it for. Is this going to be the digital currency network for China?
I see that. I see that. Sorry, I get you wrong. Yeah, I see that right now. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about this kind of plan because whether the BSN will integrate this digital yuan or not. But I think if it's ready, I think all the tech stack will support this. That's no problem. Yeah, I'm not sure about like on the business level, whether they will decide to integrate or maybe they have permissions to do that. We have no like this kind of get no information right now, but from technology perspective, I think we can be ready for that.
At that scale. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
for BSN, I think they because BSN is infrastructures on the on the maybe on the country level, yeah, because like the BSN's OPB's node you mentioned, right? The node already located on the different places in China, and like the BSN's permission blockchain products and also the networks are also like have also different applications and scenarios in different areas and different parts of China right now. So on that scale, if other things like digital yuan will be adopted, I think I think we can like before that we can make some preparations for that. But again, we have no information get from the BSN right now for that.
It would be interesting if they do migrate users on over to this, because you said that these giant multinational conglomerates like, say, Alibaba, Red Date, these companies are the ones backing it, right? And so it could potentially be just integrated into all of their platforms. And so,
sorry. So Alibaba Group, I think is not on the is not backed on the BSN. Sorry again. Maybe I confused that by when I comparing this OBB concept with the BSN and also the Ant Group. So Alibaba is not. I think currently is not on the initiative with the BSN. So BSN is also still like running by the Red Date tech company right now.
okay, and so it remains to be seen whether, I guess, the government will adopt it, or whether, whatever big tech institutions in China are going to adopt it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, I find it interesting that they were recently, clamping down on the mining farms that are powered by coal in China. And so I thought, might there be some parallel between that action and, whether they are trying to, clamp down on Bitcoin so that they migrate users over onto this new network.
I'm not sure how the miners will do in the futures. But yeah, I think China is
The miners
also,
are coming to America.
yeah. Also, here's some news for that.
Yeah. There's people looking at renewable energy farms in Texas and Florida, especially Texas, and all of the people who were operating mining farms in China are they traveled to the U.S. just for that, just to look at new farms. So okay. Anyway, this is great, Jeffrey. Thank you so much for talking to us for the entire hour. I'm going to take a few questions from the audience to close this up, because that's what we usually do. So we're going to do that. Yeah, Elliot Zeliost asks, Chango, you work on Cosmos? Yes, I do. I'm a community developer for Cosmos. Mohammed Kamaruddin, sorry about that, asks, I have followed Cosmos development very closely for the last couple of years. Read the Atom 2021 white paper. Can you give a brief explainer on the utility of Atom? Well, as we've seen in this episode today, we know that Atom is kind of turning into the reserve currency of the Cosmos ecosystem, right? There's lots of people integrating it, especially on DEXs, especially on other hubs to be used on something like CoinSwap, for example. And so lots of people, want to trade in and out of Atom, because Atom is kind of the liquidity gateway. It's the most liquid coin in the Cosmos ecosystem. And for that reason, it's the It's the coin that everyone wants to pool their tokens with in dexes such as Osmosis or on the Iris Hub. And so that's a recent utility for Atom that wasn't there before. Before, it was only there to add security to the Cosmos Hub for staking. And so now we're going to see just this whole world of Cosmos DeFi unlock, and that's what I'm personally excited about. Do we have any more questions about Iris while we have Jeffrey on? Or China? I'm just deferring to you to be our China expert because you live there. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Jeffrey Hoot, for coming to Interchain FM. It's been great. It's been a very enlightening session, and I'm glad you taught us a little bit more about what IRISnet is doing. I hope we get to upstream NFT module into the Cosmos SDK because that would be awesome.
Yeah,
okay,
thank you.
Sorry, one last question. Luigi, on IRISnet, can I currently create an NFT?
Yes, sure. We can for the users way for you right now. For the end users, you can download the Uptake applications on your mobile phone, and you can upload a photo or pictures through these applications and mint it by on the NFTs on the Iris Hub, and you can also get this NFT sold on the NFTs Uptake marketplace.
So Uptick is a marketplace that built on IRISnet. Is that what it is?
Yes. It's
kind of like Rarible.
Yeah, but Uptick actually, their team will also they're planning to maybe launch their own network, empty networks, maybe in the future. So.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Interchain FM. The next interview that we are going to host is going to be with Jazeer Brooks of SifChain. So if you are a degen and want to trade 100x margin, that's the episode that you want to tune into because that's what they're building. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We will see you on the next one.